Learnly English Podcast.
Imagine this. You move to a completely new country. You're 26. You barely speak a word of the language. Then, just a few years down the line, you're not just fluent, you're starring in massive Hollywood movies. You're even hosting Saturday Night Live. Sounds pretty impossible, right? Well, not for the person we're talking about today. Welcome to the Learnly English Podcast. Today we're looking at the really remarkable language learning journey of Ana de Armas. You'll definitely know her from amazing performances in films like Blonde, No Time to Die, Blade Runner 2049. You know her face for sure, but her story of mastering English, it's genuinely inspiring for anyone out there on their own language path.
Absolutely. And our mission for you today is really to dig into that story and pull out the most important insights, the practical strategies from Ana's experience. We want to uncover how she went from, learning lines just by sound, phonetically, to becoming one of Hollywood's really sought-after stars. And hopefully give you some of those aha moments you can actually use in your own learning. We've looked at various articles about her background, her methods, the challenges, all of it. We'll follow her story chronologically, step by step, and pull out clear, actionable lessons for you.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning then. Before Hollywood, before all the fame, what was Ana de Armas's world like, linguistically speaking? How little English did she actually have growing up in Cuba?
It's almost hard to believe now, isn't it? Seeing how fluent she is. Ana de Armas was born in Santa Cruz del Norte, it's near Havana, in Cuba. Now, her maternal grandparents were Spanish, and that was key because it allowed her to get Spanish citizenship. So at 18, she moved to Madrid, and she actually built a pretty successful acting career there in Spain on TV. She was in a really popular series called El Internado, the boarding school, for several years. So by her mid-20s, she was already a known actor in the Spanish-speaking world.
Okay, so a solid career already, but her English at that point was basically zero. Is that right? What was your environment like in Cuba regarding English?
Yeah, pretty much zero is accurate. I mean, think about Cuba during her childhood and teenage years. No internet access for most people. Very limited knowledge of pop culture outside Cuba. It was a completely Spanish-speaking environment. She mentioned watching Hollywood movies, but only at a neighbor's place. Her family didn't have a video or DVD player. So we're not talking limited English exposure. It's practically none. Her whole world was Spanish.
Wow. That makes her next decision even more, bold. She's 25, got this career in Spain, and she decides, right, I'm moving to the U.S. to L.A. at 26, knowing, as she said, almost zero English. Why? Why take that massive risk?
It really came down to ambition, I think, and feeling limited. Her motivation was super powerful. She put it very simply, because my life depended on it. She didn't want to just play roles written for Latina actresses. She was determined, really determined, to break into mainstream Hollywood. It wasn't just about learning a language. It was about unlocking a whole different level of career possibilities. That kind of why is huge for learning anything, especially a language.
I can only imagine the shock, not just culturally, but linguistically. What were those first hurdles like when she landed in Hollywood?
Oh, they were significant. And honestly, very relatable for any language learner.
Yeah.
She talked about going to auditions early on and just not understanding basic things people said. She admitted once, the first time I read my part, I had no idea what I apologize meant.
Oh.
Yeah. It just shows how fundamental those little phrases are, right?
Yeah.
And even more amazing, for her first Hollywood film, Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves, she had to learn her lines phonetically.
Phonetically? Just the sounds. How does it even work when you need to act to show emotion? That seems incredibly difficult.
It is difficult, absolutely. But it's also a really interesting, almost like a brute force learning tactic. Phonetic learning here meant she was memorizing the sounds of the English words without necessarily knowing the full meaning behind every single one. Imagine just mimicking sounds. It sounds basic, maybe even like a shortcut, but it can be powerful for pronunciation. Your mouth gets used to forming the sounds. Your ears get tuned in. Even before your brain fully catches up with grammar and meaning, it builds muscle memory. It can help reduce your accent quite quickly and just gives you the confidence to speak the lines, even if full comprehension builds up later. It's like a bridge.
Okay, so she's facing this huge challenge, almost no English, career on the line, learning sounds like a parrot. How did she cross that bridge so fast? Going from that point to major films in just a few years, what was the first big step?
Well, the reports really emphasize her commitment. She went all in. She treated learning English like her job. For 4 months, she put herself into intensive, full-time study. We're talking 7 hours a day in a classroom environment, just focused, structured learning, like a boot camp for English.
7 hours a day, that's serious dedication. But you often hear that classroom learning alone isn't always enough, right? Was there something else, some kind of I don't know, secret ingredient that really pushed her forward.
Yes. And this is the part that gets talked about a lot, and it's maybe surprisingly simple but effective. Alongside the formal classes, her, let's call it secret weapon, was the TV show Friends.
Friends, the sitcom.
Yep, Friends. She actually said, quote, "I learned English the way everyone who comes to this country does, by watching Friends."
Mm-hmm.
She even joked that Chandler Bing was her best tutor.
Okay, Friends. I mean, it's iconic, but how could a sitcom be that effective, especially starting from almost nothing? What's the magic there?
Well, it makes a lot of sense when you break it down from a language learning perspective. It's all about comprehensible input. Friends uses everyday, conversational English. The situations are relatable, the characters are consistent, you hear the same voices and speech patterns over and over. Plus, it's funny, it's entertaining. So you're not studying, you're just watching a show you enjoy. Your brain is absorbing the language, the rhythm, the idioms, almost passively because you're engaged in the story. And repetition is key. Watching episodes multiple times, which lots of people do with shows they love, really cements the language.
Ah, I see. So it's the combination of natural conversation, repetition, consistent context, and the fact that it's enjoyable, so you want to watch it for hours.
Yeah.
That makes it less like homework and more like fun immersion.
Exactly. So her approach was this powerful mix.
Mm.
The structured classroom for the foundations, grammar, vocabulary. Then this fun, immersive exposure through TV for real-world usage, flow, and listening skills.
Mm.
And layered on top of that, this incredibly challenging, high-stakes phonetic learning for her actual film roles. Talk about pressure. This kind of multi-layered approach really accelerated her progress. It's how she could land a big role like Joy in Blade Runner 2049 relatively quickly.
It sounds like an amazing strategy, but I imagine it wasn't always smooth sailing. Even with all that effort, the challenges probably didn't just disappear overnight. Her story must show that learning is an ongoing process, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's crucial to remember that. The struggle was still very real, even when she was working on major films. She talked about filming War Dogs, for example, and how incredibly stressed she'd get if the director suddenly changed a line.
Nope.
Yeah, apparently it happened often enough that the director would sometimes just tell her, okay, stick to the line you memorized, rather than have her adapt on the fly. It just shows that getting the basics is one thing, but becoming truly flexible and adaptable in a language, that takes more time.
That's so relatable for learners, isn't it? You practice something perfectly, and then boom, a slight change throws you completely off. How do people get past that stage? From just reciting memorized bits to actually improvising and adapting naturally?
Well, that's the journey from conscious effort to automaticity, really. And think about the pressure she was under. It wasn't just chatting with friends. She needed to memorize complex scripts, understand subtle directions from directors, convey deep emotions, all while surrounded by native speakers, probably talking fast, using slang, making jokes, things that are tough for any non-native speaker in real time. Getting past memorization just requires tons of exposure, tons of practice in varied situations, pushing yourself to respond spontaneously. It's about building those connections in the brain until it just flows.
And despite those stressful moments, what really shines through is her determination. She didn't let the difficulty stop her. It seems like every challenge, whether it was not understanding "I apologize" or struggling with a line change, just became fuel. That resilience is incredible. So looking back at her journey, there are some really clear takeaways here. Strategies and a mindset that obviously worked wonders for her and that, we can learn from. What are the main lessons you see for English learners?
Okay, yeah, let's distill it. Lesson number one, I'd say, is total immersion works. But maybe think of it as hyper-focused immersion. Anna didn't just passively exist in an English environment. She actively, relentlessly engaged with it. 7 hours of study, hours of TV, films as her job. For you, this means making English a huge, active part of your daily life. Don't just consume it, interact with it.
Right. Building on that, lesson 2 seems to be use entertainment smartly. Find your own friends. Pick shows, movies, YouTube channels, whatever, that you genuinely enjoy and that offer that repetitive, natural language in context. Watch them multiple times, first for the story, then listen more closely for the language, maybe even shadow the lines.
Exactly. And third, and this is so important, embrace mistakes as data. Remember her struggling with lines on set. It happens. Everyone makes mistakes. The key is seeing them not as failures, but as information doing, okay, this is something I need to work on. If Anna could make mistakes in front of movie stars and keep going, you can definitely allow yourself to make them in your practice. They're just part of the process.
That's a great mindset shift. And underlying all of this, lesson 4 has to be Motivation and passion are your fuel. Anna had that incredibly strong why she wanted that Hollywood career to break barriers. What's your powerful reason? Whether it's for work, travel, connecting with people, whatever, having a clear personal goal makes pushing through the tough parts so much easier.
Absolutely. And finally, lesson 5, consistent daily practice is king. She didn't achieve this overnight. It was months of steady daily effort. Small, regular practice sessions are almost always more effective than trying to cram everything into one long, exhausting session once a week. Build that habit, make it routine.
Okay, so to make this super practical for everyone listening, here are a few tips directly inspired by Anna. 1. Find that show or movie series you love. Watch with English subtitles first, then maybe without, as you get better. 2. Try some phonetic practice yourself. Repeat phrases aloud from what you're watching, even if you're just mimicking the sounds. It helps your mouth and ears connect. 3. Carve out dedicated English time each day, even 30 minutes where everything is English music, videos, maybe your phone language. 4. Don't hide from speaking. Look for chances to talk and don't worry about mistakes. Seriously, they help you learn. And 5. Set that clear, specific goal for your English, something meaningful to you, just like Anna did. Ana de Armas' story really is just such a powerful example of what's possible. I mean, going from learning lines by sound to starring roles, an Oscar nomination in consideration for playing Marilyn Monroe, hosting SNL, all within a relatively short time after starting to learn English seriously. It's staggering.
It really is. And what's so key here is that she didn't start with special advantages. She wasn't bilingual growing up, no English-speaking family nearby. She started this intense journey at 26 from a completely Spanish-speaking background. Her real advantages: determination, consistency, and using smart learning methods. And guess what? Those tools, determination, consistency, smart methods, they're available to everyone. They're available to you.
Absolutely. So whether you're just beginning your English journey or you're trying to reach that next level, maybe tonight's the night you start your friend's marathon. Or pick any English show you love. Let it be one of your teachers, just like Anna did. Remember, if Ana de Armas could go from basically zero English to being a major Hollywood star, you can absolutely reach your own English goals. Every show you watch, every conversation you try, every single mistake you learn from, it's all bringing you closer to your dreams. Thanks so much for joining us on the Learning English podcast. We really hope Anna's journey has given you some inspiration today. If you found this discussion valuable, please do subscribe to our channel for more insights and stories to help you on your English learning path.